I wanted to do this kind of video because like not really spoken directly to anybody about like what I'm doing. It kind of just is like this guy's releasing music on Spotify and stuff. Kind of just wanted to give some kind of like answers for what I'm doing, kind of just to kind of be more personal level. I've got my friend to like ask me some questions and I'll go through them. So the first question being, why did you start making music? Since like I don't even know how young, like before kind of 10 years old, I'd say. Like I always kind of just liked singing, like just singing to kind of things, like any kind of song. It was always kind of pop stuff, but like my kind of mum and dad always listened to kind of rock music, so I kind of was brought up on that, on like Foo Fighters specifically. I know that one. I used to be like a punk fan for Green Day, which was pretty fucking sad, but nah, it's not. But yeah, and then just from kind of like, just from doing kind of pop music and singing to that, I was going to go to these kind of singing things, but I had no confidence. I think that's a personal thing about me. I had no confidence in anything I did. I was always so shy, a bit of an introvert, which I kind of had throughout kind of the whole school. And I mean, I still kind of have a part of kind of introvert in me, and I almost kind of like conscious, self-conscious on what I'm doing. Basically, got into it, and I kind of left school, where I was kind of kept in this kind of place where anything you do, everything you said is judged in mostly a negative way. Obviously, there are positive people that say it positive, but the majority is mainly negative, so that kind of stopped me from doing that. And from what I'm doing now with the kind of singles I have out now, I'm just trying to work my way towards an album. So yeah, that's what I'm doing just now. But basically, just the reason I'm making music is just because I love to do it. It just makes me like it feels like something I want to do. And I don't really have that kind of goal for anything else. Like I fucking hate working. Like it is the worst for me. Like even though I'm part time, it feels awful, kind of shit like that, and I just hate it. And when I'm doing music, it just feels so much better, and I'm happy people kind of like the stuff I'm putting out. So the second question is, what's your name, and why is it the way it is? So my name's Selim. A lot of people say Selim, or Selim, but it's Selim, which is basically my name backwards. The kind of meaning behind Selim was when I thought of making music from like kind of like late of high school. Like I was thinking of album names, kind of ideas. The name Selim was going to be the name of the first album. It was going to be Selim, my name backwards, because kind of like Selim is this kind of alter ego personality that it's kind of like, imagine when you look at a mirror and you see that other person in the mirror, and when you would write your name, it comes backwards. This kind of other person, other world kind of being, which is Selim, which for me, and when I walk away from that mirror, you know, that person in there has a completely different life. Things are completely different. And I had this understanding where Selim was this kind of entity that had a more dark, sinister role, and the album's going to be a lot more kind of dark, grungy, experimental, and I just love the idea of having this kind of alter ego Selim personality that I was going to make into kind of like being maybe kind of like a story with like a book or kind of like movie kind of idea behind it. But I didn't want to go ahead with that just because I found it quite boring, the idea of it, and I kept with it with the name just because I like the name Miles, but I don't really want Miles. It's a bit boring. There's already Miles Davis. So who inspired you to start making music? I don't know. I've always really wanted to make something that like makes others enjoy it. Like I really wanted like to like do something. Like when I was in primary school, I'd make these kind of comics and I'd bring them into school, and like people would love them. Like people would read through it and say, oh, these are great, like these are really good. And that kind of just felt so good. That the feeling of like having someone, you know, without making them or forcing them to do that, like read it or like listen to your music and say that's really good. That's like such a good feeling. Like, I love when someone just comes out of their way just to message me and say like, you know, I like really like that song, and like I'm excited for what you're releasing. Like that's like the best feeling in the world, kind of thing. Um, but what like inspired me, I mean, to kind of rap, sing. I don't know. I don't think I just kind of inspired myself. Of like I love music. I mean, obviously there's artists that inspire me to do stuff and be different, and obviously, like I'd say like artists like that. Obviously, Kanye West is the one that kind of kicked off my whole kind of rapping, and like first like singing. You know, I could say like, Bruno Mars had like such a strong fucking impact, and like I loved like fucking Bruno Mars songs, like genuinely so good, and that made me kind of inspire me to sing, especially the I Want to Be a Billionaire song. That like inspired me so much to sing. I just loved that kind of chorus, the kind of hook on that, and I used to sing that all the time. But I never did anything with my voice or anything. I didn't really like, too fucking shy, like way too shy. I was so, and I still kind of am, like, so kind of afraid of what other people will say. And obviously, I'm fine about it now, but like, it is such a kind of scary thing for people to kind of judge you and say a lot of stuff about you, and that's just incredibly hard when you live somewhere like Edinburgh, where that is just the norm to take the fucking piss out of anything that's done different. I think the next question is, who's your favourite artist / genre of music? I'd say my favourite genre is probably kind of, see, I don't really have a favourite anymore. I'd say like hip hop, kind of rap was great, but you know, I love pop, I love R&B, I love kind of some rock pop, and I kind of like, I'm not too heavy into full rock, but like I kind of like catchy rock music. Like hip hop is a great. I love rap, and I love kind of like pop as well. Like as gimpy as it may sound, and people say like Ariana Grande's stuff is like great, and then you got Justin Bieber. He's decent. He's really good. But apart from that, like I've kind of recently stopped listening to artists just because I'm like listening to my stuff all the time. I just feel like I can't bother listening to like sounds. I just have to kind of go out and fucking just not think about that stuff, and that like, it's quite sad because I used to listen to music all the time, but like I still do, but like I've occasionally stopped doing that now just because it just ends up like messing up my ideas in my head, or like I'll like unintentionally copy it, not copy it, but like be influenced by it, which isn't really like necessarily a bad thing. But yeah, how would you describe the music you typically create? I describe the music I create is like trying to be kind of catchy and trying to be listenable. Listenable is the number one thing. I can like, there's no way that I could put something out there that I know it just sounds shit. I mean, I have like, from the 5 songs I put out, I think like Better Now sounds shit, like really bad. Sounds cringy, and Thinking Freestyle was literally just made in 3 hours to put something out there while I was on holiday, and I feel like if I kept that and redone the kind of bars and like had actually like put more effort into it, that would have sounded better. But like those 2 songs, I'm just like meh. Could have been like a lot better, like no pun intended, but they could have been. But like every single I've released after, like people are saying like the production and like it just sounds better and it's sounding more professional, and being professional, that's like the other thing I'd say about my music. But genre wise, I'm kind of not wanting to stick to one genre. I like to like diversify, but also kind of keeping the element of rap there, and also kind of singing. So like pop rap would probably be the best. Even though like I've released Pink Autumn, and that was fully kind of pop R&B, but it's just to kind of like get myself out there and kind of catch a bunch of people when they're listening to the music. So I'm not like, you know, keeping myself into one genre, which apparently does go against the algorithm, but I'm trying to not go through that and still kind of get, you know, bigger than I am. That's kind of what I do. Who would be your dream artist to collaborate with? It would probably be Kanye. It has to kind of be like, but the thing is, like, recently he's kind of releasing some shit, and he doesn't really seem too much kind of in the kind of music scene. He just doesn't care too much. But now like a dream. I think I have to say, in the future, if I were to have gotten bigger from now, I think there would be a lot more artists out there my kind of level of like, up and coming, and I don't know, but right now, like for like vocals, I'd say Ariana Grande for like vocals on like a chorus. That would be cool. I'd really like that. And for like rap, I would. Anderson .Paak would be quite cool as well. If he'd be a cool feature. He's like great. He makes great music. Don't know. I'd say Kanye if he'd like went back to fully sticking his whole time into music, like My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy era, but he's left that era. He's on to new things like being a fucking president. What keeps you motivated and driven to keep producing music? Just people like supporting and telling me that they enjoy the stuff I'm making. That is like the number one thing that like motivates me. It's insane. Like I just love like when people go like that. I really like that song. And I get like not every song is liked by everyone, but see when someone does, it's like it's great. It's fucking like the best feeling in the world, and that's what motivates me all the time. And I just love like making a chorus, making like a bar, so like spitting a bar that just sounds great. Like it just sounds so good to the ears, and it's like like that is like the fucking best feeling. Like when you just like you record, you kind of produce it, and then you play it out, and you're like. That was good. Like that was like what motivates me definitely. What's your best advice you've been given? I mean, I don't know. I've not really ever been kind of sat down and given advice, but there's this guy on Twitter. His name's what? Grego Sands. Grego Sands. He had this tweet where it was like can't mind where I heard it, but it's heavy true. Love Glasgow, Scotland to bits. It's a class place to live. But there's this culture of just slagging off anyone that tries to do anything different. The amount of people who'll be put off doing something creative because of the slagging, like, it's just so fucking true. And I saw it was so relatable. It was also when I was just starting up, and it just felt good for someone else. And also to have quite a lot of likes on the tweet to see that like that's a supported kind of thing. He sent me directly this message explaining that like I'm not alone, and like that by sticking your doing your shit and just putting it out there and not giving a fuck about what like other people are gonna say about it, even though they'll say all sorts of shit behind your back, but like who fucking cares in the end? Like if you put your shit out there and you succeed in what you're doing, they're the ones that look like fucking idiots in the end of the day. Like that's that. Like. And if you find yourself being successful and making a very wealthy amount of money when these guys are like just working their like full-time job, not got really anything, like you know where they stand and you know where you stand at the end of the day, and that's all that fucking matters. Just do your thing and do not give a shit about what these like bullies say. It's kind of deep one. How did the death of your father basically impact my life in the music? It definitely impacted a hell of a lot of stuff in my life. Still kind of deep, still kind of like a deep wound. I don't even know if I'm gonna include this. I'll just talk about it anyway, just like a therapy lesson. Basically, it just sucks. It's like this huge part of you is gone, and that person that was there for you every day of your life is just now gone and not there. And the way that he had done it and left is like it's just like cutting a wound in you out of nowhere, and it's just taking so long to kind of close up this wound. With music, I just stopped for, obviously. It's kind of impossible. I literally recorded, it was like midnight, I was recording the same day, and I literally had shown him, this kind of like song that I just finished, which is the intro to the album, and he kind of said it in like this calming tone, like That's great. That's really good. It's kind of different the way you said it. I obviously didn't kind of realise, but it just life is it's difficult because you'll find yourself enjoying this day. You'll find yourself happy, and then when you're doing things that you used to do with your dad in your life, and you're enjoying yourself, you just get hit with like, damn, I really wish my dad was here. I know it always happens, and I find that find like it's so sorry for like the people out there that don't have that person in their life at this age, or what, or they've taken their life. I get you. Like, it's something that no one can understand until they unfortunately go through something like that. And I really, really advise people just to be super cautious. Just be so fucking cautious of anybody. Like, even someone that you would never think, that person that's like always happy and always kind of joking around, and you wouldn't ever believe them to be depressed or suicidal. You gotta keep an eye on people. If they're acting weird, fucking ask them what's going on. Confront them. Can I get to the bottom of it? Because if you think you're invading their kind of space or not, maybe that next day you might never see them ever again. So it's affected me on a level where I don't know how fucking long it's going to take till I don't think I ever will be the same. But people say it strengthens you, but it feels I've like weakened. I've still like got some part of me that won't ever fucking heal. So yeah. What does the future hold, basically? Album. Definitely got an album, which is insanity. Got merchandise. Now I'm gonna care about the quality and everything about that. That's another huge part to me. Second project will probably be kind of like this collaborative mixtape, and then the third project is probably gonna be like a really good studio grade album. But basically, I'm just moving on, building future relationships, trying to do stuff live, speaking to my mate about that recently, and like, just keep expanding this kind of Selim personality. Just make stuff that people really enjoy,